Welcome to Top Hill Recording Podcast. Tonight we have a very, very special guest. This guy started a long, long time ago with his first recording, was a very young man with his first album, 2013, EP Extra Better, 2014, Light of Day, 2016, first full-length album, Midwest Heart, Southern Blues, 2019, Comparison. I mean, this is crazy. You ready? 2019, All Damn Day, full-length album. 2020, Alive from a Barbershop in Southern Indiana. 2022, another full-length album, Heavy Denim. Got another EP, I hear, coming out in June. Very happy to have with us Nick Dittmeier and the Sawdusters.
You don't know the truth. You don't know the truth. You don't know the truth till it's too late. Waking up exhausted is not the way we planned. When we head out on the road on Thursday morning, all the walls I build around my heart, I understand, come crashing down without warning. You don't know the truth. You don't know the truth. You don't know the truth till it's too late. Till it's too late. Laying here dejected is not what we foreseen. At a rest stop in Ohio, some old evening. The way you work so hard to shield your eyes from what's at hand makes the future we could have feel so alarming. You don't know the truth. You don't know the truth. You don't know the truth till it's too late. Till it's too late. Till it's too late. Till it's too late.
Thank you.
That was beautiful.
Thank you.
I used to be baby, won't you hush? Whoa. And I moved to the bigger city. My hometown got too small. And I'd spend my night staring at the ceiling. I wonder where I was. I'd fuss and cry. Well, Mama, gotta get on with my life. And she'd say, oh, 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 don't you know you gotta take it slow? And she'd say, oh, 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 one step at a time to make it go. Now it doesn't gotta be rushed. Little baby, won't you hush? Whoa, oh, oh. And she'd say, oh, 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 don't you know you gotta take it slow? And she'd say, oh, 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 one step at a time to make it go. Now it doesn't gotta be rushed. Little baby, won't you hush? Whoa, oh, oh. Whoa, oh, oh. Whoa,
Thank you.
over the line and you're over the limit. You're too far gone till you way down in it all. You're too far gone. And I walk these streets since I was young. Have the same fears, feel so numb. Something about this town. Whoa, looks like it's going down. And I can't shake the feeling that something is sinking around me. Oh, and this premonition, it's long been conditioned, start running away. Stand above the freeway on the overpass. You got 7 billion ants trapped in the glass. Oh, get ready for work, go back to sleep. I love you more than you will know, and I can't shake the feeling that something is sinking around me. Oh, and this premonition, it's long been conditioned. Start running, running away.
Killer tunes,
Thank
brother.
you.
Killer.
I ain't superstitious. A black cat just crossed my trail. Oh, I ain't superstitious. A black cat just crossed my trail. Yeah, don't sweep me with no broom. Well, I just might get put in jail. Yeah, my right hand it itches. Well, I'll get some money for sure. Whoa. Yeah, my right hand it itches. I'll get some money for sure. If my left starts jumping, yeah, somebody gotta go. All them hound dogs are barking all over the neighborhood. Yeah, them hound dogs are barking all over the neighborhood. It's a sign of death, baby, and that just can't be no good.
How you guys doing?
Great. Thanks for having us.
Man, super happy to have you guys in. Have been looking forward to this one for a long time. Every now and again, you circle one on the calendar.
Yeah, I was
man,
going to say the
this
same
has been
thing.
circled.
Every week we get to see cool acts, but there's some that you're extra excited to see. And I've seen you live, like out and about, but it was really cool to hear you all in this room. So
Awesome, man.
it
Yeah,
sounded
thank
great
you.
in the headphones.
Yeah, for sure, man. So I looked it up. Second time in, last time it was you, and I think Gina from Sweet G and the Shine.
Oh, yeah. Uh-huh.
She sang a song, and you kind of introduced us to her, and she was awesome.
Yeah, I love Gina.
Amazing singer. That was January 8th, 2021. That's been a minute, dude.
No,
yes.
I think
Well, that's when it was released, at least. I looked it up.
'cause I thought it was summertime when I did that session.
It might have been, but yeah, I looked at the release date.
Okay.
And it's January 8th of 2020. Anyway, 2021.
Okay, yeah.
Seems like a long damn
Sounds like an
time ago,
eternity.
man. No shit. So you, the one thing other than being an absolutely killer and prolific songwriter, you guys just get off the road is something that you've done as long as I can remember, knowing your name and knowing who you were. You put in the work, man. You stay busy. You stay on the road. You stay dedicated to this thing. You just got off a little bit of a swing. How'd that go?
It was awesome. It was like 16 shows in 18 days. And
Getting it.
so, yeah, the only 2 days we had off were Mondays. One, we got to watch the women's Final Four. I don't even remember the other one was, but it was...
We watched basketball then too.
Okay, yeah. We watched a lot of basketball on tour, so that was good, positive. But
It was March, right? March.
yeah, it was March. Yeah, it did start, we started tour, I think the opening, or no, the first Friday of March Madness. But we were through the Midwest, upper Midwest, and it was cold, man. They had this kind of like storm come through and stuff. We kind of dodged. We didn't have any shows canceled, luckily, but it was like 0 degrees a lot of days, and we were in like South Dakota and Minnesota and stuff like that.
Dakotas, man. Let's see.
Yeah.
Dakotas. We stay away from the Dakotas around here now.
And it's kind of scary and windy sometimes there. But it was good. It was funny because it was like the last day of tour was like a week ago, and we were playing in like South Central Indiana, in Brown County, Indiana, for like an eclipse event, because that was like where the totality of the eclipse and everything went. And it was weird because it felt like we were like the building up to this collective what's the term I'm looking for?
An astronomical event.
An astronomical event. But then like people were collectively like acknowledging kind of thing. So it was cool to be a part of that and to see it and everything. And I remember we were walking around a Walmart in Illinois because we didn't have our eclipse glasses, and they were sold out. They started to sell out everywhere. And then the scientist, we were like on stage, and Shelly was just joking about how we didn't have eclipse glasses, and there was a scientist in the crowd, and because it was near Southern Illinois University, and he came and gave us a whole bunch of eclipse glasses.
Shout out to that guy for sure.
Shout out to the scientist, man.
Dropped
Hey,
them in
man.
a tip bucket.
Science wins again.
Yeah.
Oh, what a tip. That's a great
Yeah.
tip.
Yeah.
Dude, killer idea. Here's your tip. That's awesome.
Cigarettes,
Yeah.
weed,
No cigarettes. No cigarettes.
eclipse glasses, money. Those are all good tips. Oh yeah, cigarette. We didn't smoke. Well, this was our first tour of me and Josh swearing off all cigarettes. And,
How'd it go?
It went okay.
I smoke like 5. I'm good.
When you
I'm doing
tour,
better.
Pretty good.
but when you tour, like all I want is like one cigarette after a sound check and one when we're done. I just want 2 cigarettes a day, but it's not good for you.
I mean,
'Cause-
2 a day.
but you have so much, but it never works out that way.
Yeah.
Because you have so much down.
You got to have them.
And you got to, so if you're only smoking 2 cigarettes a day, then you got to bum your cigarettes, actually. So you got to make friends with somebody out back and be like, hey, by the way, I'm just standing out there on this patio. I noticed that you're smoking a cigarette too. Can I steal one of those?
Look, you can either let me borrow a cigarette or just breathe on me.
Yeah.
Smoke in my ear or something,
Right.
Yeah, so you mentioned, this is kind of wild because I didn't even think about it until you mentioned being scared in the wind in Dakotas.
Mhm.
Now, Brad mentioned, Brad Weston, my dude,
Friend of the pod.
friend of the pod, starter of the pod. He mentioned, so if you've grown up in this area and you've been around lakes and stuff, he's like, man, you just go get a boat and you go on the lake. And I'm like, yeah, well, of course, just go. He said, well, in Kentucky, Indiana, this area, all lakes are down, so they're in some type of valley somewhat. It's not how it is in the middle of the Midwest America where everything's just flat as shit.
Mhm.
So he said him and his dad, who's, upper 70s, went out on a little John boat on this little lake. And he said, dude, we got out there. We were freaking out. We were scared to death. He had like 3-foot white caps in this little John boat because the wind comes across the plane so hard that it creates waves. And he's like,
yeah.
So I talked to him like a week later. He's like, yeah, I'm going to get my boat. So he went and bought a boat so he wouldn't have that problem anymore. But I've never even considered like how much worse the wind was. I guess I did once I hit Kansas because I hate Kansas. Kansas, because of the wind, I hate Kansas, man. Driving an RV in Kansas in a crazy wind.
Yeah.
But it is crazy, man. You don't really think about it. Is wild to think that when you tour the country like you have, you see different spots and different things and probably get a sense of the country in ways that a lot of people don't get a sense. Do you feel like when you do these runs and you visit these places, I mean, I wrote down just a quick list for you if you don't know. Just spots you've been. Indiana, Wisconsin, Michigan, Minnesota, Kentucky, South Dakota, Iowa, Ohio, Florida, Missouri, St. Louis, Missouri, South Carolina, Georgia, North Carolina, Spain, New York, Vermont, Rhode Island, Connecticut, Pennsylvania, and I'm sure I haven't even touched 50% of them. Mm-hmm. But you're seeing this world on a different... Do you ever think about how you doing what you're doing and the grind that you are not putting yourself through... but the things you do for the love of the music, where it's taken you, and the things that you've seen that you just normal people don't get.
Yeah, every day. Yeah, for sure. All the time. But like as far as like geographical weather patterns and stuff like that. I mean, the U.S. is like so big. Like it's absolutely vast and empty. Like the whole place is pretty. I mean, like you can drive. If you think about Kansas, you can drive from one end of Kansas to the other and not see a soul. Like or like not deep. Like it's so empty and. Like as far as touring the U.S., I do think about that, like in the, like the weather patterns and stuff like that vary so greatly, and even from within states. Like Western New York is totally different climate than like Eastern New York. It's so big, and in touring Europe, that's one thing about it. Like they don't understand how big the United States is. They looked this up before, like. Like Belgium and the Netherlands are the same size as Indiana is from Seymour to Louisville.
See, that's
like, and that's
nuts.
That's crazy.
And that doesn't even count like Luxembourg, which is like the third Benelux country or whatever. But so all the places I've got to go, there's no way I would have ever been able to go to any of those and do any of those things. So that like the music has got, it's got to take me to cool things and see stuff, all kinds of, if you're paying attention, to be observational enough to like to see so many things, but yeah, like just the general space of the United States is like it's massive, and that's just and what we're talking about is just like the eastern half of the United States.
I scale. This is we kind of touched on it last night after the podcast is over, just talking about scale of things and. When you put things like that, a lot of times when you're growing up, you'll see like the overlays of the United States compared to Europe, or Europe and the United States, and how small it really is. And it doesn't make sense in a lot of. It's hard for your brain, even when you see it, to compute that. So when you are hitting the road and seeing it, I imagine that changes that a little bit. But I will say this because I want to say it live, dude. The difference between 1 million and 1 billion. This is my craziest.
It's 1,000 of millions.
Well, yes.
But okay, sorry.
So in correct. Time, so like in time. I did this last night and blew my mind. I always did. It's my favorite. I'm sorry. But the difference in time, like a million seconds versus like 1 billion seconds. Uh-huh. So 1 million seconds is 11.6 days. And 1 billion seconds is 31.7 years.
Oh, wow.
So... just like scale of things like that. I have no idea what that has to do with the, Europe and America, but just scale. So I guess to kind of bring that back into it, do you feel like you get a grasp of the world, and does that translate over into how you write? Has it changed?
Yeah. I mean, I guess, and they can answer this too, because Shelley's been to Europe a bunch of times. Josh has been there with me 2 or 3 times. And I would say, I guess, as far as like, especially people kind of wondering like why or how like you would end up in these places. And this isn't like a conceited thing to say at all about the United States, but like we export culture, like we generate culture for the rest of the world. It's like the only export I can offer to the rest of the world, and they are interested in that. And they want to see American bands there, and like I don't think it would translate as well, or I would remotely get the kind of gigs I get over there if it was like if I hired people over there.
Yeah.
Like they want to see that experience in a way. So that is part of it. So you kind of go over there with a little bit of ammo in the respect of like there's a reason why you are over there. Like in America, also it's like we have a mentality of music like we look at like something someone else does and we want to co-opt that or steal that in a way, like dating back to like blues music, artists taking blues music or like rural music or folk music and co-opting that into other genres, or the way like hip hop is like collage art in the respect of like from other recordings and sampling those things. Like that is inherently a part of like the way we create in this country is to look at something like I could do that. I don't think there's the level of I can do, like there's a reverence for like what we can do over there in the same way of like, there are country bands in Europe and there is like a roots music scene. It's just not to the degree of the way that we view making music and stuff like that. I don't think it is. At least that's my perspective of it.
How does that, I think I want you to try to explain that a little bit for me because I'm never stepping foot in that scene or understanding what that is. Is it like a more rudimentary version of what we do? Is it kind of a less nuanced? What is the difference between? Because honestly, it surprised me when you said there was country music over in Europe. Would have never thought that. I don't know why. I don't know why I wouldn't have thought it, but it's just such an Americanized music. I think in my brain that I'm gonna have to search for it now just to hear it.
Oh, there's all kinds of German country music and Dutch country music and stuff. It's not always awesome, but it does. England has a roots music, but I mean it's not Europe, but like and other it's not my favorite. When I've come in contact with it, but they're all really nice people.
Is it instrumentation wise pretty similar to everything to country music here? Is it just just guitars and is it pretty simple as far as the music goes, but everything, or is it just totally different?
It's similar. There's just kind of some lost translation. I can't. You'd have to kind of see it for yourself. I think So,
dude, I'm digging. I'm definitely gonna dig it. I'm gonna have to figure that one out. So, I guess the what we really need to do is kind of dig into the bandmates a little bit and talk to you guys because you've been awful quiet on both sides of that couch.
What you got?
We're going to start with ladies first. Shelly, if you don't mind, tell us a little bit about yourself, when you started in music, and just kind of when you knew it was going to be something that you had to do.
Okay. Well, I was always into music since I was a little kid, and I had an older brother who, I watched MTV with him like in the late 80s, early 90s, and just probably kind of knew I wanted to do music since I was, 8 or 9 years old or something. Started playing guitar when I was about 13, started a punk band in high school.
Nice.
Played a bunch of shows. And
band name? What was the band name?
We were called the Novas.
The Novas.
Yeah, we played a lot of shows circa 1999, 2000 in Louisville.
Your Ecstasy
at the
was
Brick
still
House.
open?
Yeah, Your Ecstasy was definitely still open.
The Brick House, okay.
Then I went to Middle Tennessee State University to become an audio engineer.
Oh, right on.
So then I kind of was, I'm a mastering engineer now as my job. And I was in Nashville for a long time working there. So I've kind of made it my career, whether I'm playing or, mastering records.
Awesome.
But kind of since the beginning, and really as long as I can remember.
So do you work like independent, or do you work with, when
I lived in Nashville, I worked for like a really big studio there, but in 2013, I moved back to Louisville because I'm from here. Okay. And mastering is not really it's not attended, clients, but even in Nashville, it's like, here are the files, send them back, and at a certain point, it was like, I can do this in any location.
Yeah. Especially these days. You could send stems over the internet. It makes it real.
So I was like, might as well just do it anywhere I want. And so I started my own mastering studio, Black Lab Mastering, in 2013. And that's what I've been doing ever since. That, and then I started playing with them this year. So still I'm still the new one. But
still the new kid on the block, huh?
But so far, so good.
Right on. So in 2013, you decided to leave Nashville as everybody else in the world's moving in, huh?
Basically.
Dude,
I got out like a year and a half early, but before it got wild. But
yeah, you personally, I think you probably got out in the right time because these days, I mean, every time that I've been the last 5 years, I count the cranes when I leave.
Oh yeah,
28 last time. There were 28 cranes downtown building shit, and I thought, my God.
Yeah, it's not even the same place as when I lived there.
It's Nash Vegas. It truly, really feels like that. You step on Broadway and you're like, what is going on? Get me out of here.
Yeah, I don't
do not want to be here.
I don't try to go to that part of town.
No. That's one where you take like somebody a friend that's never been to Nashville, and you're like, oh God, here we go. Let's go. Come on, I'm going to take you. But this tells you how close we are as friends, because I wouldn't do this for a lot of people. Josh, what about you, man?
I grew up in southeast Kentucky, so a lot of bluegrass stuff. I wasn't really playing any of that, but
you're a bluegrass drummer, huh?
The element, and it's on my mom's side. She's got some of that, but
yeah,
not a lot of drums in bluegrass these days, or ever. But yeah, so I think I got my first drum set for Christmas when I was like 13 or something like that. So that's really when it kind of bit me, and I started getting really into it, and just
always drums.
For the most part.
So
I had a guitar before, but I don't know.
Never picked it up.
Yeah, well, I'm now, but yeah.
All right. The quality that you have that I love is you're very percussive. It wasn't just 2 songs. I don't think you used. It was all right hand for the shaker, and just when you can add that type of texture to a song without having to add another person on another instrument, another percussionist, it's very, very nice to be able to have somebody that knows what the hell they're doing back there, especially on this side, man. I love it. Yeah. I'm sure you obviously know as an audio person, drums and shit can be very interesting at times. So what's next, man? I know we got this, tell us a little bit about this EP coming out in June.
Yeah, it's just a 4-song thing. I started on the fly kind of last August at my friend Aaron Biebelhauser's house.
Oh, good dude.
And yeah, awesome, freakish musician.
Yeah, totally.
And so we started, I was recording at Deadbird, so I got like half of another record done, but it's going to be a while before that comes out. So this is kind of like, not to belittle it a little bit, but it's kind of like bridge album between like Heavy Denim and then something else that's going to come out. So it's got a totally new original song. There's a cover, and then we tracked 2 kind of stripped down acoustic versions. Me and Josh did of 2 songs that were on Heavy Denim. One called "You Don't Know the Truth," which we did. That was more of like a synth-driven kind of song on that album. And we kind of did it more of like it's got banjo and stuff on it on the recording. So
cool.
We're going to release a 7-inch, which I've never released a 7-inch before. Awesome. And so we'll have 2 songs on it, and then 2 will be available digitally while that goes on. But it's called Fast Fashion, and it's kind of a play on like Heavy Denim kind of thing, like fat, like, you get something from Old Navy, like a sweater, and it like doesn't last long or anything. It was like kind of a play on that. But
Fast Fashion, that's killer.
Did you never do a 7-inch with your old man?
Never. No.
Not even a punk 7-inch.
No,
okay.
Not a punk. We're all CDs.
Okay.
No shit. So when you got these 4, what happened with that other set? I mean, you're the Deadbird stuff. I'm sure you're still finished. You're gonna. Yeah. It sounds like there's a plan.
Yeah, part of it was a time and money constraint, and then like I went in January or something like that and finished. So everything there's 4 new songs like totally done. And what I actually did for Heavy Denim is we went in the studio, tracked like 3 songs, and then I used those 3 to like fish around to be like, hey, I got these songs. This is what it sounds like. Because they might want to give me some money to like make a record. So that's what I'll probably do with the other one, or these other songs. And I kind of had a plan with the other stuff. So, and I knew we were gonna do some have some changes and things like that. So it was an element of like I can get some stuff done and work ahead, because everything just takes so long and to get done, and we've got to generate like so much money to get this stuff out, you know, because like, I don't know if any other artists really talk about this on this podcast, but really the only way we can get things to the black is through vinyl sales, and which I love vinyl. You know, like I love selling vinyl. You know, I have no qualms with it, but like to do a real order of vinyl, you're going to throw down a couple $1,000 at least on top of like what you've already put into the records. So yeah, I'm not scrapping that stuff by any measure, and I've got more than enough songs to finish like a full length that Josh and I've played probably through like 12 or 14 songs, you know, that like we've worked on and stuff like that. So we'll just kind of have to whittle that down. And like, you know, there's songs that are years and years old that if I had like an unlimited budget, like I could like, you know, just keep putting stuff out, but we're kind of constrained by the money stuff and the time stuff really.
And money's always a constraint.
Right.
I feel you. Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm making an album. I did 8 songs for my album because I couldn't afford 10. So
yeah, no. We were talking about that the other day too, about I think 8 songs, because Leonard Skinner and a lot of like 70s bands would do 8-song albums. I think that qualifies for.
I know all that old Al Green stuff is like 7 or 8.
Yeah,
the records were shorter because they were putting it on single vinyl and there was no CDs, and they were keeping it to 40 minutes or less for the most part.
And think about some of those records where you have 8. When you have 12 really good songs and you have to make the decision to come to 8, 4 good songs are hitting the floor. So those 8 are going to be solid. So I'm sure that's what happened more back in those days than any. They just had crazy amounts of songs and were just like, you know, the best of the best survive. It's like sharpening swords, man. It's crazy. It's crazy. Yeah, I wish there was some way to make it to where art was free, you know, to think that
it is kind of right now. I mean, Spotify, it's pretty close to free.
Not on that end.
Free to make it.
For the making, because you know how many artists are in that situation where I'm tied right now. I can't do it. I've got 10 songs, and if I could record 10 songs, I've got 50 songs. If I could record these songs, but it boils down to I don't have the resources. I don't know how. I don't know that. You know, those little bitty things. But especially when it comes to it's a money thing. You just wish that there were enough people in the world to go.
Yeah, it sucks that money is the hindrance. I mean, we have people on here every week, and there's good acts every week, and all the time we're like, why don't you have any songs out? It's like, because I don't have any fucking money. Like,
yeah, shit ain't cheap.
Yeah, it adds up. I mean, like for my album, I hired out like a lot of people, and so it got expensive really quick. And so at least like you have your own band to cut the cost a little bit, but everything adds up. Especially like you said, when you buy vinyls, like it's not like you can buy 50 vinyls, like you're buying hundreds of vinyls.
Yeah, you got to hit that sweet spot to where it makes sense quantity-wise too, you know?
Yeah, dude. Back in the day when you bought CDs, you'd buy 1,000 CDs and have 950 of them left. And if you did that with vinyl, man, that's like a room. You got to be careful.
Yeah, shipping is also like half the cost and vinyl half the time.
It's crazy. It really is. And it really does suck that you have to... It's all about going out on a limb and believing in yourself and putting faith in what you were doing and believing in the music, which is awesome. But to financially have to front that as well as your belief in it, just sometimes it's a hit. It's a hit that, you know, if you're grinding and out, a lot of people these days that have a full-time job can't afford shit like that. It sucks. It sucks to think that money is such a crazy a part of what it is to be a person these days and to be a musician. Sorry for my diatribe.
Just go smash some banks up.
Let's go rob a Guitar Center.
Yeah.
So what about, you just got off tour. I know you got, from what I could tell, 3 or so more dates in the next month or so coming up. Do you all have a plan after releasing this thing in June to hit the road again? Or what's the upcoming plans for you guys?
We got a bunch of Midwest stuff through June, July, and we're going to go Northeast in August. And then so all of September we'll be back in Europe. And then... then the next half of the year, we're, the last quarter of the year, we'll be back playing shows and stuff like that. So, yeah, it's just mainly go where we're wanted, you know. So
it's a good way to look at it, man. So you guys doing any of the festival stuff coming around here these days? I know that's the big thing. I don't know if we just had Fuzz. I got to shout out the Fuzzstration guys in here from Indiana last night. They do the Fuzzy Pig Fest. I know there's a lot of local festivals. I don't know if that's something you guys do. Have you all ever done anything like that or have any of those on the books coming up?
Yeah. I mean, like off and on through the years, like Master Musician, we've done like Rooster Tail Fest and Mass and a whole bunch of times, and like a lot of like concert series. But some of the bigger ones, where's Fuzzy Pig? Is that like in like
Milltown,
Indiana? Okay, yeah. I don't know those guys, but I know people that play.
Oh man, they're a good time.
Yeah,
those guys, those fellas are fun, man.
But yeah, we always do. Yeah, we got like a fest in like Northern Indiana we're doing in June, and some outdoor concert series stuff. But none of the like huge festivals. We're not on anything like that in the US.
I'm more for the small fest, man. I think it's a little bit more intimate myself. Bourbon and Beyond I go to Bourbon and Beyond. It's a good time. It's wild. It's but it's so corporate, and it's gotten more corporate and quick. So the smaller stuff, like how Poor Castle started and those things, it's just pretty cool. When you do play something like that, like do you kind of treat that as a hang? Like, hey, we're going to be around a bunch of other musicians. So if you do something like that, and don't worry about bottom line. I don't know how that would even work.
Like what do you mean?
Do you just look at say when you accept that gig? It's not like, like say the Madison gig, and there's 10 other acts, or however. I really don't know how it looks, but when you take something on like that, a fest or a show that has a bunch of acts, generally, that means having to sell a bunch of tickets, get a bunch of people there before anybody makes money, because everybody has to blah, 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 blah. Do you ever go into a show basically knowing, all right, this may not be financially good, but there's going to be a bunch of other bands there, and we'll get to kind of hang out and interact and meet people?
They usually take pretty good care of you, especially compared to like venue shows and stuff. But I mean, the way I view it is like, it's just like any other show that you're playing with national acts, or you're involved with people that have bigger followings than you, that you have to show up and act like you belong, and you have to get up, and that's your opportunity to get up there and show people that you belong, because they don't really, a lot of those people travel to those festivals and stuff. They don't know where you're even from, necessarily, or whatever, and they might even be just seeing you for the first time. So stage-wise and everything, pretty much you have all the same resources as a band like Blackberry Smoke or something like that. So you gotta have your shit together and show up and try to hold it together for 45 minutes to an hour. Is the way I view it.
Man, I imagine that anytime you've been in a situation like that, that's been a good introduction for people that haven't seen you before.
And then my philosophy too with that stuff is like, hanging out at the merch tent and everything till like the end of the show, not just doing things and packing up and leaving, but being a part of the whole show or whatever it's going to be.
Being accessible.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. I can imagine that helps. It helps people go, this dude gets it. He's cool. He's here. It definitely makes sense.
Right. And you get, I mean, like on like a Rooster Tail last year, we probably booked 3 to 5 other shows just off of that set,
really?
Kind of thing. Other people that have bars or book or have like a concert series or a house show or something, just hang out and talk to people, and they might have some cooking too. So the touring stuff kind of like begets other touring if you can kind of hold it together, I think, Is
that the hardest thing about the whole deal? Just keeping it all together? And that's not just that's not a one-off show. That's all of it. I mean, what you do is big. I don't know if you think about it that way, but dude, you write like crazy. You've got a ton of music out. I mean, just look at that. That's 10 years. I mean, that's a shit ton of stuff. You're constantly on the move. You're constantly promoting. You're doing videos and the social media game right by keeping it fresh, keeping different videos up and doing. It's a lot. Does it ever feel like it's a lot?
Yeah. Josh, you want to answer this one?
I mean, you're doing a lot of the work. I think I just play drums, man.
It's taken me a long time to, I'm in the best place mentally like I've ever been before. And like taking care of myself physically and mentally and all of those things. So that has been an investment in myself. So like, Yeah, so but like it took me a long time to get to the point where I was comfortable with everything all the time, and that I was honestly with sane people all the time, basically, and people I like and trust. So that's another huge part. But like, if like there's other musicians or whatever, like listen to this podcast, the first crop of people you work with will probably be horrible, like honestly. And like, they probably are not mentally equipped to do it, and like, you're just going to have to like power through and find the right people that get you and are like the right people for the situation. Because, like the other thing too about when you first start and try to tour and do all these things, it's going to go really bad. And, if you're the band leader, you have the worst job. So if like you start a band and you decide to go on tour with it, everyone okay, so you're going to pay the band like at least something to show up or whatever. Like they're going to get paid before you get paid. So like, or if the van breaks down and you own that van, you're going to pay for that shit before, like you're like the main guy. So until you can get to that point of like things going right enough, you are going to continually have the worst job.
You're going to be
basically.
You're going to be the dude.
Yeah, and it's like a prison that you've constructed for yourself that you live in day out. That's the other part of it. Like you just look like I fucking did this to myself. So yeah. So I am finally, after X amount of years, like we played at Monarch back in the summer. I was flying. I was like, dude, I've been flying in this town for 25 years. Like no fucking shit. And it's like I'm finally like feeling sane most of the time, and that feels pretty good. So like, and it hasn't always been that way, and but yeah, man. So
yeah, I could just I think when you walked in, you brought a different like vibe tonight. You really were. I think I could tell. Not that you were in a bad place first time, but you probably were right in the middle of the mix. I don't know. But I also barely remember any podcast from, 2021. But man, I just, there's a feel to you that you are in that spot where things are firing on all cylinders, smooth. The band is together. You guys sound great. I can't imagine like the progression that happens when you do those legs, like in heading overseas in September. The camaraderie. Biggest word you said and all that stuff you said was trust. You're with people that you trust, and I imagine that extends to these guys, which is huge. Not only do you trust with everything, but musically trust, and to be able to money's a thing. When you're in a band, it's a business. I mean, there has to be that there. So it's just good to see, man. It's good to feel from this end too. So you've been quiet as shit today.
I've just been listening. Yeah, you're really interesting. I like just hearing what you have to say. Like, I mean, I've known who you are since before I even started doing music. I think you're one of the best acts in the whole city, and there's a lot of good acts around. And it's just cool to listen to you talk, and I'm just taking it in and learning a little bit. Yeah, I mean, Jed, you all are a super tight band, and I've said it on here a bunch of times. But like a 3-piece band to me, when it's on, it's like the coolest shit. Because like I play in a 4-piece band because I'm just a strummer, really. Yeah. And I like to be able to be the lead man and play lead guitar is so cool. And obviously you just play the fuck out the guitar. Yeah, and it's and you got a super tight band. I feel like, is this a totally different lineup than you've had in the past? Or, because I feel like before, did you have a dude, I feel like you had a dude who like made your merch that I met once. Who made your like heavy denim merch? Or is that
No, the guy that did the heavy denim album cover is a guy named Ryan Dunn.
Okay, cool. I met him once. I guess I assumed he was in your band.
No, I've known Ryan forever. He does, and he's a crazy visual artist. He does
great stuff. I wear that heavy denim shirt all the time.
Yeah, and that artwork that Ryan did is like a one of one kind of thing that he constructed. Like it was kind of like some ideas that we had with it. But I met Ryan when I was probably 17, 18 years old, because we both played in like punk bands, and he was probably putting on shows in, I think, Evansville or Jasper or something like that, kind of one of those places. And but yeah, he's doing stuff for like Billy Strings and like Vision Video and like a whole bunch of other bands.
Well, yeah, I love the artwork for that. So I almost wore that shirt today, but I feel like it'd be lame. So
what do you mean? In my Bowman shirt.
But yeah, you all really are awesome. we kind of said already, like we do these podcasts every week, and it's always fun to have a different band come in here, but there are certain bands that you know, and you're just like, that's going to be fucking dope. And I've been looking forward to you all since I saw you all on the calendar.
Awesome, man.
Like,
Thank
and
you
it
so much.
it met and exceeded all expectations too.
Yeah,
thanks,
totally. Always does, man.
Yeah.
You know? Well, I guess just kind of give us a little rundown on what's next for you, where you're heading, a little bit about EP in June. We already know where people can find you.
Yeah.
Where they can find your dates, all that type of stuff.
Well, we got the EP coming out June 7th, and then we'll just be hitting the road and trying to get in front of people and stuff. And then we're on, Facebook. We got videos on YouTube, Spotify, anywhere you're going to find music. Our stuff will be on there and everything. And if you're listening to the podcast and you like what you hear, come out to a show because we are like a small independent band, and that kind of makes the world turn around. So
Don't forget Touch Tunes.
Oh, Touch Tunes, yes. Yeah, we blew a guy's mind the other day with that, actually.
What happened?
Oh, we're on.
You're on it?
Yeah, we're on Touch Tunes
shit.
jukeboxes, and some guy, like, she wanted to see it, and blew some dude's mind.
That's killer. I totally would expect you guys to be on Touch Tunes, man, for sure. You on Touch Tunes? You're gonna have to find out. You have no idea,
have
do
no
you?
idea. I don't know.
We're all gonna be looking for each other's names now. It's gonna be awesome. Well, hey, man, you guys really, really appreciate y'all coming in. It's an honor to have y'all back and have you back for sure.
Oh, thank you, man.
Looking forward to June 7th. Check out this EP. We'll look for you on the road. Be sure to check out Earl Bowman on Instagram. Spencer Corbin Customs, what is it, Corbin Customs?
Yeah.
All right, Corbin Customs on Instagram. Check us out, Top Hill Recording Podcast. On Instagram, please subscribe to our YouTube channel. Biggest thing you could do for us.
It just takes a second.
Just a second.
It's a big deal. It helps.
Come on,
all the
man.
follows, it all adds up.
It's a second. And be sure to support your local artists and musicians. You guys see you next time.
Awesome.